Today, I'm going to recite about the three levels of cone of experience. First is the inactive, second is the iconic pictorial experience, symbolic, highly abstract experience. Inactive means direct experiences, under that is direct purposes, contrived, dramatized. Second is iconic pictorial experience, under that is demonstration, study trips, exhibit, educational television, motion pictures, recording, radio, still pictures. Then lastly is the symbolic highly abstract experiences is under that is visual symbols and the verbal. In the three levels of the cone experience, first is inactive. Under the inactive is direct and purposeful experience. So, means direct first-hand experience, have direct participation in outcome, and use of knowledge. Second is contrived experiences, means edited copies of direct experiences designed to stimulate to real-life situation. First is model. Model is a reproduction of real thing in a small scale or large scale or exact size but made of the synthetic materials. Second is mock-ups. Example is the planetarium. And then the third is object. The object means may also includes artifacts, displays in a museum or things displayed in an exhibit or preserved insect, specimen or in science. Fourth is specimen, a portion or quantity or materials being used in testing or examination. Fifth is the stimulation, is a representation of the manageable real event in which the learner, as an active participant, engaged in learning behavior and applying previously acquired skills and knowledge. Lastly, the games. The games is the form of physical exercise taught to children at school, make classes more inactive, more attractive. Other types of contrived experiences, we have the 10. First is the aquarium, second is the terrarium, third is the aviary, fourth is the herbarium, fifth is the herbary, sixth is the verbarium, seven is the planetarium, eight is the solarium, nine is the diorama, and 10 is the orchidarium. Under the inactive is the dramatized experience. So means that is reconstructed experiences can be used to simplify an event or idea. It is the most important part. So it involves the demonstration, study trips, exhibit, motion pictures, educational television, radio recordings, and still pictures. The second part of the level cone of experiences is the iconic pictorial experiences. First is the demonstration, means visualized explanation of an important fact, ideas, or process. Example is how to play the piano, how to lift, and how to lift the fingerprint. Second is the study trips, means watch people to do things in real situation. Example is the civil war or recruitment. Third is the exhibit. Exhibit is something means something seen by spectator. So they have two types of the exhibit. First is the ready to made. Example is the museum, career fair. And the second types of exhibit is the homemade. Homemade is the example is the classroom project, and National History Day competition. And then the next one of the iconic pictorial experience is the educational television and motion picture. First is the television. Under the mean television means the bring images interaction with events from around the world. And the second of the educational television and motion picture is the motion picture. Motion picture is the uh, can omit the unnecessary or unimportant material. The last one of the iconic picture experiences is the radio and motion pictures. Means can often be understood by who those who cannot read. Example is the Time Life magazine. Listen to the old radio broadcast, and then listen to the period of music. First is the symbolic experiences means the very little immediate physical action use all levels of the cone in varying important. It is involved to it is involved uh, visual visual symbols and verbal symbols. The first is the visual symbols. They are longer practical reproduction of materials, object, for such representation are incredibly abstract. First is the under the visual symbols. First is the drawing, cartoons, strip drawing, diagrams. So first is the drawing. The drawing is might not be a real thing, but better than nothing to have practical visual help. And the second is the cartoons. It is another useful visual symbols which can add innovation to our teaching. The third is the trips drawing, a series of sketches, lick or funny story or an adventure in a newspaper, magazine, etc. And the lastly is the diagrams. Diagrams is any lines drawing that shows arrangement, can relation as a part in the whole relative values, origin, and development. Types of diagram. First is the affinity diagram. Affinity diagram, tree diagram, fishbowl diagram. Under the visual symbols, we have the chart. The chart is a diagrammatic representation of individual connection with an organization. So they have types of chart. First is the time chart. The time chart is tabular time diagram displaying the data in original series, and tree of streams chart shows creation, growth, and change starting with a simple spreading out of the several branches. And then the last and followed by the flow chart, organizational chart, comparison and contrast chart. And then another part of the visual symbolic is the graphs. The graphs means picture helping us to understand the details. Types of graphs is the circle graphs, bar graphs, graphic organizer, and then followed by the map. Map. Under the visual symbolic is the map. Map is map is the reflection of an Earth's surface or a part of thereof. Example is the physical maps, relief map, and the political map. And lastly, the visual symbolic is the poster. Poster is a large printed picture, photograph, or notice that you stick or pin to a wall or board, usually for decoration or the advertise something. Part of symbols is the verbal symbols. They are not like the artifacts or concept. They stand they stand for they stand for. They do not generally contain visual references to their meaning.